Outdoor advertisements can be seen everywhere we go in cities. From roadside billboards we pass, bus stops and train stations that we wait at, buses on the road, to lampposts and building covers. It's everywhere. Researchers have measured movement and behaviour of consumers in cities as a way of understanding responses to these advertisements. Studies have largely been laboratory-based, concentrating on the accounts of pedestrians, drivers, and users of public transport. A classification known as visually adjusted contacts, or VAC, can then be derived, guiding the size, type, amount, and distance from viewer, as well as the angle and luminance of advertisements. What hasn't been explained, however, is how cyclists respond to outdoor advertisements. The aim of my research is to fill this gap from data gathered in the real world. By focusing on the perception of commuting cyclists, I examined how daily rhythms increase or decrease awareness and memory of advertisements, and how this results in openness to ads and intent to buy. When classifying advertisement sites located on transportation routes, knowing the amount of people travelling there is important, as this calculates a visual exposure rate. Commuters of inner London, for example, mainly consist of users of the tube, bus, train, driving, on foot and cycling. The percentage change of these transportation types from 2001 to 2011 has remained relatively stable, except for cyclists. Cyclists travelling to work from 2001 to 2011 more than doubled. With this trend, and urban policy increasing to promote cycling behaviour, understanding how this growing group responds to outdoor advertisements is vital if advertisers wish to create ads that target the right audience in a precise way. My research was based in Amsterdam, where cyclist numbers are huge, making it the ideal location to investigate how cyclists respond to advertisements, but also asking ad companies how they adapt ad placement and design in Amsterdam to cyclists. I picked a commuter route called Amstelveenseweg, which contains over 80 ads along a 1.2 kilometre stretch. After mapping the area and calculating a demographic profile, the majority of cyclists using the road fitted the classification of ABC1. I used a still developing and innovative research methodology known as rhythm analysis. The routine daily practice of commuting produces a certain spatio-temporal rhythms, with some more visible than others. We enact the same repetitions of spatial behaviour from sleeping, waking up, eating, shopping, playing, and travelling. This behaviour does not unfold in an inert container of urban space based on rational decisions, but rather is an embodied experience that involves all the senses. Unknowingly, by using the same daily routines, we incrementally learn from our environment while simultaneously become desensitized to certain urban features. This complex dynamic can be captured by rhythm analysis, concentrating on the linear and the cyclical. By drawing attention to the rhythmic interaction of the linear and the cyclical, it was possible to gain a deep understanding of how people's perception and memory of advertisements is connected to these rhythms. In asking what is distinctive about how commuting cyclists perceive and understand outdoor advertisements, this was then broken down into 4 research questions. 1. To what extent do the daily rhythms of cycling along the route cause commuters to forget urban advertisements or recall them? 2. How do the daily rhythms of using the route produce certain moods, and do these influence openness to advertisements and intent to buy? 3. What aspects of negotiating urban space on the route result in cyclists becoming more aware of advertisements and their surroundings? And 4. Is there a distinctive difference between the rhythms and subsequent perception of advertisements for cyclists and pedestrians? To measure the cyclists' response to advertisements, I use video cameras both attached to the bicycle of the participants to capture eye movement and facial expressions, as well as tracking them from behind with a second camera to synchronise the footage. After the video recorded cycle ride, interviews were then performed to explore what the journey meant to them, how and when they use it, i.e. the rhythms, and which advertisements they noticed. The video footage during and after the interview could then be paused and slow-mode as a way of capturing small details of the journey. The findings were extremely significant, offering a completely new perspective on how cyclists engage with and perceive outdoor advertisements. The practical implications of the research are that by implementing this methodology along transportation routes, advertising sites can be profiled and classified in a way that accurately reflects the daily responses to advertisement campaigns in specific locations. This can then be used to alter the design of advertisement sites and should be seen as a relevant factor in measuring the VAC, or visually adjusted contacts. To find out more about the results of my research, or if you have any questions, then feel free to contact me and I'd be happy to answer your questions. The full thesis should be published in a scientific journal this year, but otherwise, if you're still interested in my analysis of advertisements, then you can follow my weekly blog which reviews advertisement sites in different cities. Thanks for watching.